Hello ladies and gentlemen, Nick here. This is a non-edited video thing, although at time recording I can edit again. But this is something I just wanted to do quickly, so just another quick non-edited video. Also, sorry for any noise outside. Windows are open. Also, I would also like to ask people not to put certain comments down in the comment section, such as RIP Doctor Who 1963 to 20. Shut up! Such as RIP Doctor Who 1963 to 2017. Let's not have any of that, please and thank you. And absolutely no hashtag not my doctors under any circumstances. I also request the comments are not bland and boring dumps of information. Put some opinions in, put some facts, put some feeling into it. Just don't dump something, whether even especially if it's not opinionated, if it's just dumped. Just actually have some sort of your ideas or your own opinion or some facts you've heard, felt, or what, or do you agree or disagree with the video or something. Just put something that implies A, you've watched the video, and B, that you've actually got an opinion instead of just dumping stuff. Okay, so with that out of the way, the topic of the video. Recently, well, yesterday actually, I saw a tweet saying that Doctor Who had been renewed for a further 2 series after Series 13, and that Chris Chibnal will be showrunning all 3 of these series, 13, 14, and 15, with the same cast returning. However, we sort of already presumed this back in 2017 when the BBC did a deal with China for a 5 series deal to air series 11 to 15, presumably in China. So presumably we already knew Doctor Who was going up to at least series 15 due to this deal, plus Chibnall's supposed 5-year plan that he was talking about in 2018, 2017, 2018. So there's always that. Of course, 5-year plan could mean actual years, not series. And we've already had a gap year of 2019, and we might be looking at one in 2021, depending on how coronavirus affects the production of the next series. Or the series could easily be split over 2021 and 2022, like Series 7 was in 2012-13. Whether that means we'll get something similar like with the classic series, where we'll have split series over 2 years, some episodes in 1 year, some episodes the next year for series 14 and 15, or whether they'll wait until 2023 for the next series and air series 14 as a whole. That's yet to be seen. Or maybe we'll be lucky and get series 13 next year in its entirety. We'll see. And again, we still don't know when the special's airing. My preference is if series 13 is 100% going to be in 2021, whether that's the whole series or part of the series, then the special should air on Christmas Day. But if there's going to be absolutely no series in 2021, then air the special on New Year's Day. So we're going to get at least 1 episode, maybe 2 if they put in a Christmas special at the end of the year as well. But we'll definitely get at least 1 episode in for 21. So Series 13 is definitely going to be in 2021, special on Christmas Day. If it's definitely not, put it on New Year's Day. So we'll get at least 1 episode in 23. But yeah, the topic of this video was series 13, 14, and 15. 13 we knew about, but 14 and 15 are going to be under Chris Chibnall, which should not come as a surprise. It should not come as a surprise. Like I said, the deal was made back in 2017 with China, although they may have only just renewed it for the BBC. The BBC themselves may have only just renewed the programme for a further 2 years, or series at least, recently. Possibly. It's not 100% confirmed yet, so maybe this isn't totally confirmed, or maybe it's always been confirmed, and this is just a confirm. But yeah, expect Chris Chibnall to be running Doctor Who at least until the end of Series 15. And yeah, that we shouldn't have taken that as a surprise, though. It's not a surprise. It's we should have been if anyone was surprised, they should have been expecting it, due to the deal and with China, and also due to the supposed 5-year plan. We'll see how that turns out. Whatever you say, what you like about Chibnall, his writing and his plans, where he's going, and especially what's in the stories, everything. Whatever you think about that. What's my point going to be? My point was, oh yeah, it might be leading to something. Stephen Moffat was trying to do something similar, but I don't think he quite got there for one reason or another, at least with the 11th Doctor's era. And 12, I don't know what he was doing. But Chibnall might actually have a plan. He's got a 5-year plan apparently, but whether we trust that 5-year plan or not is to be decided. Let's just see how it goes before we make final judgments. I didn't need to say final 5 times. Well, actually, that's one final for every series. So you could have 2 of those final opinions, but there's still 3 more to go. So let's wait until the 5th one to make an overall final opinion. But yeah, this shouldn't have come as a surprise. Chris Chibnall up to at least series 15 makes sense and shouldn't have been surprised. As for the mention of the same cast, does that mean Jodie Whittaker will be doing 5 series? Not necessarily. It depends on the cast themselves, whether they want to stay for 3, 4, 5 years, or even 1 or 2. It totally depends on the cast. As we're seeing with the special, Ryan and Graham, that's Totten Cole and Bradley Walsh, who are playing them, are going to be stepping down as regular companions, appearing in every episode, or main character status, and they're just going to be reoccurring characters, at least for series 13. So those 2 are just taking a step back from main character status and just being reoccurring characters, a bit like Martha Jones in series 4. Ignore that. As I was saying, a bit like Martha Jones in series 4. So yeah, that's going to be happening, and this thankfully does give enough room for Yaz to perhaps get some development, as that was a big criticism of series 11 and 12, mainly 11, but not so much 12, but still something to work on, that she does need a bit more character growth and a development. I think there was a bit in 12, but not enough. I think she's the Clara Oswald of the fam, basically, of the series 11-12 TARDIS team / fam. She's the Clara Oswald, except more likable and maybe even slightly more personality, but maybe would I'm kind of pushing it both ways, to be honest. But anyway, but this does give room for the Doctor and Yaz to grow as a character, and more Doctor Yaz time together. I know quite a few people have been wanting them to get together as a couple. Maybe it might work. I don't know. Perhaps. When I did think about the rumour that the 13th Doctor was going to be gay back in 2017, I thought, right after hearing it's the first female Doctor, I thought maybe, nothing against LGBT people, keep muddling my words up, nothing against that, but after the fact it's the first female Doctor, I was thinking, it might be a bit worrisome. Depends how it goes. And I know because of a lot of people, it was mainly due to a lot of people being quite upset about the casting. Some reason, some people had reasonable reasons, and some people absolutely not. And I think you know which people those I'm talking about. However, over the course of the time, I think it might actually work. I'm thinking. I think it was back at the time I was thinking it probably wouldn't work because she is the first female Doctor. It's just happened. Maybe you can wait a little bit, or at least not do it straight away. But now I'm thinking, yeah, we've had some time. Yeah, it could be okay. To be honest, the reaction was more due to because of the fact that a lot of people were getting upset due to the gender of the casting rather than anything else. So that, I think, if it was a male Doctor being gay, I think that would also have been totally fine as well. Heck, my friend Matt at the Universals kind of thinks that the second Doctor was sort of gay with Jamie, and to be honest, when you start watching the seasons 5 and 6, you can possibly tell about that. So, yeah, no problems there. Plus, it could also lead to potential romantic drama akin to the 10th Doctor and Rose, or the 8th Doctor and Charlie from the Big Finish audios. But we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of more open to it now that we've had some time. But yeah, I could also see some people getting backlashy, whether they have the appropriate opinions or not. But as I was saying, that doesn't necessarily mean the 13th Doctor and Yaz are going to be sticking around till series 15. Doesn't mean Ryan and Graham are going to be popping in and out every other couple of episodes till series 15. They might be in a couple of episodes of series 13, but maybe they won't be in 14 or 15. Yaz might leave after 13 or midway through 14. To be honest, it would be nice to see another companion with the 13th Doctor. Whether they should be introduced in series 13, or whether we should wait till series 14 or maybe midway through series 13 and have a few episodes to the Doctor and Yaz together and then bring in someone else later in the series. Whether what's going to happen, that I'm not quite sure. I would like to see another companion join the team, but I would also like to have a couple stories with 13 and Yaz together, maybe some with Ryan and Graham popping in as guest characters, but mainly Yaz as the main companion with the Doctor, and they just hang out a couple of times, have a couple of adventures, like in the old days, basically. When I say the old days, most Doctor companion relationships are one Doctor, one or two companions. So yeah, a bit like that, as opposed to the one Doctor, three companions TARDIS team, which seems to be every other couple of Doctors. Um, which is completely fine, but you do have to accommodate for those TARDIS teams. And like with the Fifth Doctor's season 19 and 20 TARDIS teams, sometimes companions can be left out, more so with 19 than with 20, because it was only a free TARDIS team for 2 stories rather than 6, like in season 19, 7 if you include Logopolis from the end of season 18, 6.5 actually. Logopolis episode, towards the end of episode 2 of Logopolis to the end of Earthshock. I think, to be honest, there has also been 4 TARDIS teams in the 60s, 63 to 64 and 65 to, just 65. Seasons 1 to 2 and season 2, it's season 1 to season 2, story 2 and season 2, stories 3 to 8. In that last one, you can even say it was a 5 TARDIS team in the very last episode. Then again, I don't think Stephen joined properly until the next episode, so... but argue that amongst yourselves. But like I said, they have. Oh, and of course, Ben, Polly, and Jamie, season 4, stories 4 through to 8. Yeah, that one they had to write some Ben lines to be Jamie, and then Faceless Ones didn't give Ben and Polly a proper send off. So yeah, they did have a send off, but they didn't have much to do in that story, which was a disappointment. So maybe the 60s TARDIS teams have been done the best. Then again, it was the first 2 TARDIS teams, so makes sense. The first 4 companions of Ian, Barbara, and Susan, later Ian, Barbara, and Vicky. So yeah, they would have to have gotten those 4 characters right alongside the Doctor. So, but hopefully, with Series 13, we should have one companion, at least for the first half of the series, and then maybe get a second one in maybe later on, or wait till Series 14. And again, it depends when Amanda Gill wants to go, when it's time for Yaz to go. And as for the Doctor, and as for Jodie Whittaker, I have been wanting for a while for a Doctor to do more than 3 series, because that seems to be the thing with the new series, and some classic Doctors too, that they will do 3 series. In the new series Doctor's cases, it'll be 3 series over 4 years, or 5.5 years in David Tennant's case. So if Jodie Whittaker does do series 14, then she will have 4 series over 5 years. She does series 15, that's 5 series over 6 years. So that would make her having the most number of series and the longest running new series Doctor, and also one of the longest running of all of the Doctors, or at least for television eras. Same number of series as John Pertwee, and would have almost as many years as Tom Baker. He still has about 7.5 or something, or nearly 7. Between 6.5 and 7.5. He'd still be the longest running Doctor, whether Jodie Whittaker does series 15 or not. Even if she leaves after 6.5 years, she would still be under Tom Baker's record, unless there's some very, very tiny day gaps, like 1 day more, perhaps. Only just 1 day, or 1 day less, almost beating it. But I think Tom Baker will keep that record for a bit longer. We'll see how it goes. Maybe there'll be a Doctor who will do 8 years, and as many series, perhaps. Who knows? But at the very least, I do want to see a Doctor do 4 series at the of the new series. I want to see a Doctor do more than 4 series. Do you know who was the last Doctor to do more than 3 series? It was going to be Sylvester McCoy, but they cancelled the show. So instead, we got the actual last one because Sylvester McCoy never got to have his 4th series. The last one was Tom Baker. That's Doctors 5, 6, 7, skip 8 and 9. We'll skip 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Those 7 Doctors never got more than in Eccleston case he only did 1, but none of those Doctors did more than 3 series. Colin Baker did 2, and again that was like Sylvester McCoy not getting his 4th series. That was not due to his that was not what he wanted. That was due to that was forces outside of his control. But Peter Davison, Chris Braxton, David Tennant, Matt Smith, and Peter Capaldi all left at their own accord. And all of them, along with McCoy, have done 3 series, except Eccleston, who only did 1. And Colin Baker, as I said, only did 2. So I don't mind if it's Jodie Whittaker, or if we have to wait for her successor, but I would love to see an actor playing the Doctor do more than 3 series. So I'm completely fine with Jodie Whittaker doing series 14. Whether she'll do series 15 or not, I'm not sure. I wouldn't mind her doing series 15, to be honest. I do think Yaz will probably leave either at the end of 13 or at the end of 14. I don't see her staying on to series 15, but I can see the 13th Doctor. What I would expect is that maybe series 13 they introduce another companion midway through. It can work. And then at the end of that series, or during series 14, Yaz goes, and then that other companion sticks around till the end of series 15, maybe even as the transitional companion into the 14th Doctor in series 16. We might even get another one before that point as well, so we'll see. But this is just what I think. So in conclusion, we know Chris Chibnal is going to be showrunner up to at least series 15. Whether he will stick around a bit longer to write for the new Doctor, like as I was saying, Jodie Whittaker might not do more than 3 series. She might only do 3 or 4, which means there will have to be another Doctor in for 1 or 2 years, and they might need another series or 2 afterwards to expand their role. So whether Chris Chibnal will actually stay on for those series, or if another showrunner might write for that Doctor, is to be seen. I know some people were interested to know how Peter Capaldi would have fared under another showrunner, and a lot of people wanted that. But Capaldi stepped down with Moffat. He decided to go with Moffat after series 10. So Chibnal started from scratch with his own Doctor, which he was probably happy about, but I think he would have been fine with Capaldi as well. And we'll see when we come to series 14, series 15, whether the 13th Doctor does 3 or 4 or 5 series, or whether another Doctor has to be brought in for at least 1 or 2, maybe a few more, and Chibnal might decide to do an extra 1 or 2 years just to give that Doctor some time to have a couple of adventures, 2 or 3 series of adventures, maybe 4 at the most. But again, depends on their actor as well, and then go with them. Or that Doctor may be transferred to the next showrunner, depending on what happens. And that's even if we get a brand new Doctor. If the show is definitely not coming back after series 15, perhaps the last 1 or 2 years may be given to a past Doctor, or maybe Jodie will be convinced to stay on to do 5 series, even if she's up for leaving after 3 or 4. That's the theory going down. If the show is not likely to carry on after series 15, or is going to go on a big break, perhaps series 15, maybe even 14, might be transferred to another Doctor, perhaps the 8th Doctor. But that's a theory. That's just a theory. That's just an idea. But I can see them renewing the series after series 15. It might have a big break. It might have some time off after series 15, and then come back with series 16, refreshed a couple of years later. It might have a sort of a big break, not a longer one than what we've got now, because we keep having year gaps. But it might have a refresh break akin to the Wilderness years, except nowhere near as long. Maybe akin to more about 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 years off. Just a couple of years off. And then it'll come back with the 14th Doctor in series 16, or whatever they want to call it by then. But yeah, my guess is that, like I said, my guess, as I mentioned, is that Chibnal will do at least up to series 15, which is confirmed. Jodie is going to do at least 13, 3 series up to end of series 13, might do series 14, also the possibility of series 15, we'll see, and if not to either of those, then we'll get another Doctor in for 1, maybe 2 series, and we might get an extra series or 2 afterwards to see how their run goes. We'll see. And who do I want to be the 14th Doctor? Well, actually, I want Jo Martin to be the 14th Doctor. I really hope that the Roof Doctor, as part of Chibnall's plan, is a future incarnation of the Doctor. And we've got this kind of John Pertwee era-esque situation for what, John Pertwee was Earth-based for most of his run for his first 3 and a bit seasons. Well, what we could have is with the Jo Martin's Doctor, perhaps we could have her seen working for the Division in her first series. Second series, she goes on the run, as we see in Fugitive of the Judoon, and then maybe a third series, if she's lucky enough to get a third series, she's free from the Division, but there's still she's sort of defeated them, or she thinks she's defeated them, and she's free to do what the other Doctors have done, like John Pertwee did in his last 2 seasons, but there's still the shadow of them over them, and they might be her final villains, the villains in her final story, which would then lead us on to the 15th Doctor, who I would love to be Hayley Atwell, by the way. I would absolutely love Hayley Atwell to be the following Doctor. I would want Jo Martin's Doctor to be the 14th Doctor, and the idea of the future is coming, kind of bumps into the past and has her memories of that incarnation, maybe in a few other incarnations. I would not be surprised if they wiped all of the incarnations as far back as perhaps the 7th Doctor. I think they would want to erase their memories of the Time War. So they would probably erase the memories up as far back as the 7th, maybe even 6th Doctor. So 6 or 7 would be the last one she remembers, making her think she's the 7th or 8th Doctor. Instead of in reality, she's the 14th Doctor, but 15th incarnation on her 16th life. Yes, thanks a lot, Moffat, for complicating the situation further. The War Doctor was fine, but the addition of the 10th Doctor regenerating himself, that being said, if Martin turned out to be a secret incarnation between Patrick Troughton and John Pertwee, which is the main theory, the season 6B Doctor, after Troughton does his season 6B stories, and then Martin, and then at the end of it, they decide, okay, off to wherever you go and be John Pertwee. Honestly, that I would like that more than the idea of David Tennant regenerating into himself, counting as an official regeneration. But I do prefer the idea of Martin being the 14th Doctor, so it's... I prefer that, but we still have that stupid David Tennant regenerating himself, regeneration counting. It was fine in the Strong Enough Journey's End, it works there. It doesn't work as an official regeneration. Thank you, Moffat, for introducing that in the Time of the Doctor. And if Jo Martin does reveal to be a secret incarnation of the Doctor from Troughton to Pertwee, then that means either the 10th Doctor regenerating himself doesn't count, and 11 just thinks that it does, because he doesn't remember Jo Martin, as 13 doesn't, or the Time Lords gave him an extra life so that 11 could regenerate. 10 could regenerate into 10. That meant 10 could then regenerate into 11. Otherwise, 10 second time round we did the last one. And of course, 11 would not remember the previous. It would not remember the additional Doctor. And just think that's it. He's on his 13th and final life, when in actual fact he got 1 extra. But yeah, it's a pick your own poison. You either have the Jo Martin be the 14th Doctor, and you keep the David Tennant regenerating into himself as an official regeneration, or you have that as an additional keep that, but you've got 1 extra on top of Smith, and he's just forgotten about Martin being included as between Troughton and Pertwee, or he just counts it because he can't remember the other time he's done it, even that it doesn't actually count. It's pick your own poison. It depends whether you want to see Jo Martin as the 14th Doctor or not, and it's whether you want, or the season 6B Doctor between the 2nd and half, I guess, like how the War Doctor is the 8th and a half unofficially, or what you think of the Tennant to Tennant regeneration counting as an official regeneration. I'd say if we go for the 14 route, Jo Martin being 14, then we'll have to suffer with, not suffer, we'll have to bite the bullet and just say, yeah, the 10th Doctor regenerating himself still counts. But hopefully we'll get a great Doctor in the form of the 14th Doctor when she comes round. Hopefully, fingers crossed. And whilst we're at it, hopefully 13 gets even better. I was liking her a lot in Series 12, and I think Jodie Whittaker is getting better in the acting, but I don't know. I think we still got room for improvement, and with 2 or 3 extra series, well, after Series 13, 1 or 2 extra series, we could see that. And after 14, hopefully it's Jo Martin, and then after 14, my preferred choice is Hayley Atwell. I think she'd do a fantastic job, and I think for me, she would be a very much akin to the Ninth Doctor. She'd be this kind of flippant between kind of happy, friendly, approachable, especially to her friends, kind of like a sort of like a teacher in places, just nice person. And then as soon as you've done something wrong, snap. She will be very extremely cross, and I think on both sides of that personality, we can have a lot of fun. So, yeah, and I think the Doctor closest to that is the Ninth Doctor, because he could have his fun moments, but when presented with a darker moment, he could get deadly serious. 12 similarly, but to a lesser extent, because he was sort of dark to begin with, then he got all hipster rebel Time Lord Doctor thing. And then Series 10 was sort of a better balance of that. So we may be looking at Chris Braxton Series 12 Peter Capaldi comparison, perhaps. But that's all Sylvester McCoy post season 24. That is a good route I would like to go down. And then her successor, fun but not goofy. So another fun, approachable incarnation, but not over the top goofy like Matt Smith and Jodie Whittaker, and to an extra extent David Tennant. I think more like Paul McGann would work for the 16th Doctor. So this is what I think should happen. 14th Doctor, Jo Martin, as she is. Maybe some expansion on the character, but the personality as it is. Maybe mellow towards the end when she's free of the division, but otherwise as she is. 15th Doctor, a Doctor who can go dark on the snap of the fingers, but still really friendly and approachable if you haven't done anything to get her across, or him, let's say them, if you haven't done anything to get them across. And then 16th Doctor, more fun and approachable, but not to the extent of a goofball, just kind of just regular person, but not too regular. You know they're an alien, but don't go too goofy at it, and at the same time, don't go too serious. Just, I guess, normal would be the word, or not, well, almost normal for the 16th Doctor. Again, Paul McGann is a good comparison. I would make, but anyway, so that's some news. That's some thoughts on the news of Chris Chibnal is definitely staying on to Series 15. Jodie Whittaker might stay on to Series 15 or Series 14, or she might leave after 13 or 14. We'll see. And what could possibly happen with those last little couple of minutes, going to what I think should, or what I would do, what I would like. Put your own personal opinions down below. Please be sensible. Let's not have any let's not have any no female doctors, because women can't play the Doctor. We've had 3 years of a female Doctor. I think it depends whether you like her or not. And also you got the Joanna Lumley Doctor from 1999. I think between those two, I think you can have a woman as the Doctor. I think it works. So yeah, especially, and they've proved it. So yeah, so we'll have sensible comments, please, and that's really about it. Put your thoughts about this news down below. Put what you would like to happen in the future, what you would want. I would say, as far as showrunner is concerned, Chris Chibnall's doing up to at least Series 15, but that doesn't mean he's doing more. But if he does stick around with the 14th Doctor, if they get introduced to Series or 2 before he finishes, so Series 14 or Series 15, for example, if get another Doctor in for those series, then he might stick around for one more for Series 16 to wrap up their era, perhaps, because I do think they should have another series or 2 afterwards. But whether he will do it or not is questionable, but I think he would if it's one more series, maybe not if it's 2. But definitely going up to Series 15, and then after that, it's anybody's game for Series 16 or Series 17 or Series 18 onwards. Again, it depends whether Chibnall would stay for an extra year or 2 to see the 14th Doctor's era through. But starting with Series 16, 17, or 18, we will have another showrunner. So, and that's if there's any series after Series 15. But yeah, put down, hey, why don't you suggest who would you like to take over for series 16, 17, 18? That'd be interesting. Oh, and the 60th anniversary is coming up. I think Chibnall's well, I've heard theories Chibnall might be aiming for that anniversary. I even got the theories from the Confused Adipose, a great YouTuber, by the way, who's theorizing and slash hoping that Omega is going to turn out to be the big bad. That would be awesome, and that would be great to see in the 60th anniversary in 2023. I am a bit worried on how they are going to do it, because maybe they'll have to push series 15 back to 24 and not have an actual series in 23, or maybe the series are going to be pushed back and 21 is not going to have them, and then 13 and 14 are early of their years, maybe 15 too, in 24. But hopefully we should at least get a 60th anniversary special. It would be nice if the series did get pushed sooner into the year. Maybe that could help. Depends on how it takes them to make them. I'd also heard that they might. Well, some people may have suggested that only doing half a series for series 13, it could be an option, which I'm kind of a bit iffy at. And the same for 14 and 15. But I'm looking forward to the 60th anniversary. I'm looking forward to the next 3 series. I'm looking forward to the future of the show under Chibnall, under Whittaker, under whoever. I don't care. I'm got faith in Chibnall, even though it's questionable faith. I like Jodie Whittaker enough to see her carry on to do at least one more series, with the hopes of possibly a fourth, I should say. Whether she, how am I with her doing 3 series? I think I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, she could do 5 series. I'm fine with that. At least 4, I would say, because, well, 3 at least, but 4 preferable. 5, yeah, go ahead. And then 60th anniversary, build the hype. It's just over 3 years away. Build it. Doesn't matter who's the doctor, who's the showrunner. Build the hype for the 60th anniversary. It's worth celebrating because it's not just this era. You've got 12 other doctors plus the War Doctor, and loads and loads of stories. So even if you're not a fan of this era, start building the hype up for the 60th anniversary, because that covers everything. And then, as for the future, wouldn't we like to dream? Or no, actually, wouldn't we like to know or dream? But we'll just have to see what happens. And also, those wondering when Chris Chibnall would leave on a date-wise, same for Jodie, probably 2024. 2024 was probably going to be the latest. Because if Series 13 is 21, Series 14 could be 22, Series 15 might be 23 or 24, and that's if filming goes ahead as planned. So I would say 2023 or 24 for the latest. Unless, like I said, Chibnall does do an extra series or 2 to finish up 14's reign, in which case 26 would be the absolute latest. But yeah, anyway, that's all done now. And that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Sorry this was a bit long, I was intending it to be shorter. Anyway, keep comments civil. Bye!